important for all of us. Most of the aspirants, when they are taking anthropology optional, I must have repeated this point several times before, they do not find difficulties in biological anthropology, even they find archaeological anthropology easier. But when it comes to social cultural anthropology, they lack understanding. They lack understanding. They do not know, because we think that, oh, it is society, it is culture, just explain it, not in a very deeper manner, people would understand and write it down. It's just because it seems easy, it doesn't mean that these are the easier concepts. And definitely it is not for students of sociology and anthropology. So you need to deep dive into such statements. So you need to know this part. You find any human society, you will see culture. Okay? So human society is not possible to survive, exist, or evolve if there is no culture. First of all, this is a very important part. Then you need to know what is culture. How does that originate? So culture originates through social interactions. What is social interaction? It is like, you can say, all your actions which ensures your survival. Okay, so humans are social animal. We need groups to live. We cannot survive in isolation. For that, we have created family. So family is a social institution. So once individuals are born, they interact with family. Through family, they come to know about God. So now they are interacting with religion. Then when they are growing up, now they know about the how they need to reproduce. So it is like the marriage. So now they know the other institution, that is marriage. So on polity or economy. So basically, social interaction help us for our survival. Okay? How does that originate? Because of shared meanings. So we give consensus to live in a particular pattern. That is what we call as shared meanings. Now, how do we communicate? We communicate with the help of language, norms, values, sanctions, rituals, etc. Right? So, you will see it enable us, it help us, it helps to coordinate with others. Why? Because now it is sustaining social order. Now, the question should come in your mind, what if we don't have culture? What if we do not have culture? Then what would be the scenario? Human groups would lack coherence. They would not have guided framework, no agreed framework to guide behavior. अगर हमारे पास ये कल्चर नहीं है, no guided framework to guide, you know, to guide behavior. Okay? Clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Now you must have heard about feral children. That feral children illustrate that without cultural socialization, individuals do not fully develop capacities, reinforcing the indispensability of culture for society. So I hope you know the meaning of feral children. Okay, tell me what is feral children.
I don't know, ma'am.
Okay, so whenever I'm using any term beta, even if you do not uh, understand this, okay, so you have to tell me. Please write
Okay,
down a
ma'am.
box. Make a box and write down feral children. It's just a small concept. So feral children are like, individuals, like the jungle boys who have grown up with little or no human contact. Outside, often outside normal social environments. एक एग्जाम्पल देख लीजिए. There is an example of genie. The case study. A girl discovered in the United States who had been isolated for years. Okay, तो ये लड़की काफी टाइम से isolated थी. Despite later efforts, she struggled to fully acquire language. Okay, तो वो बात भी नहीं कर पा रही थी, social interaction भी नहीं था. So she was very lost. It's like a jungle boy. Okay, you must have seen the movie Jungle Boy.
Yes,
So
ma'am.
feral children powerfully support the idea that without society, culture cannot exist, and without culture, human society cannot function. So for society, we need culture. Okay, without society, culture cannot exist. तो आपको लोग चाहिए, इंटरेक्शन होना चाहिए, और कल्चर के बगैर ह्यूमन सोसाइटी जो है वो फंक्शन नहीं कर सकती. Okay, so this is what you need to understand here. Clear?
Yes, ma'am.
So just understand this. Individuals do not fully develop human capacities if we do not have culture. Okay, so culture and society are indispensable. They are very related. Okay, culture cannot exist without society. Why? Because it is created, right on, maintained and transmitted through social interactions. So a culture is resultant of collective and learned context. It's a collective efforts. So it's a collective entities. Culture is not an individual possession. Culture is not an individual possession. It is collective in nature. Now, this social institution, family, marriage, kinships, it helps in reinforcing culture. Okay? Written this point. So the
Yes,
relationship
ma'am.
of culture and society is not static, it's dynamic. So culture shapes structures like norms influencing institutions. Social changes can transform culture. So culture भी change होता है. For example, now the kind of rituals we see in marriage system, it is not the same. The family system is changing. Everything is changing, right? So society and culture exist right now in a dynamic and interdependent relationships. Each continuously shaping and sustaining the other. ओके, तो जब भी आपको ऐसे क्वेश्चन दिखते हैं, ऐसे स्टेटमेंट दिखते हैं, आपको इसमें थोड़ी और मेहनत करनी चाहिए. ओके, और इसके बाद ये जो क्वेश्चन मैंने लिखवाया है, इसका मैं मॉडल आंसर भी दूंगी. आप उसके लिए 1-2 पेजेस छोड़ दीजिए. Now, meaning and scope of social cultural anthropology, the branch of anthropology that concerns with the study of social institutions. Okay, so social institutions, marriage, family, kinship. Anthropology is very much interested in it. अब 19th century तक social cultural anthropology इतना popular नहीं था. It was actually biological anthropology. और सबको लगता था कि social anthropology सिर्फ primitive people और उनके culture को पढ़ते हैं. ठीक है? So almost everyone who was interested in the study of primitive people and their culture was known as ethnologist. ठीक है? ब्रिटेन में मेजर फोकस एंथ्रोपोलॉजिकल स्टडीज का सोशल रिलेशनशिप्स को रहा. फाइन. सो यू विल सी फॉर इंस्टेंस इस नाम को अलग अलग तरीके से यूज किया जाता है. सोशल कल्चरल एंथ्रोपोलॉजी, सोशल एंथ्रोपोलॉजी, सो ऑन. सो दिस यू कैन लीव इट. यहां से आप कुछ डेफिनेशंस को यूज करेंगे. The study of social behavior, especially from the point of view of the systematic and comparative study, social forms and institutions. Studies the origin and history of man's culture. So this book name, please write down Introduction to Anthropology. Beals and Hoiger. Beals and Hoiger is explaining the same. Studies the origin and history of man's culture, their evolution and development, and the structure and functioning of human culture. So the way man has devised to cope with natural settings and social milieu, how bodies of customs are learned, retained, and handed down from one generation to the next. So this is the work. Both work, you people please write down Manet's work, Harris Kovitz. Okay. Now this you should write. So the main aim of social cultural anthropology is to understand and appreciate the diversity in human behavior and ultimately to develop a science of human behavior. This is attained through the comparison of different people throughout the world. So all anthropologists agree that some social cultural features are universal. तो ये जो है ये यूनिवर्सल है. ओके, ये लिख लो. इसको कल्चरल यूनिवर्सल भी कहते हैं, लेकिन इनके अंदर जो प्रैक्टिसेस है, इनका जो इंटरनल स्ट्रक्चर है वो डाइवर्स है. Now, whensoever we are studying the social institutions, we are relating it in a linkages. इसे हम आइसोलेशन में कभी भी नहीं पढ़ते हैं. मैरिज, फैमिली, किनशिप, एवरीथिंग इज इंटररेटेड, इंटरकनेक्टेड. हम इसको एक साथ ऐसे ही पढ़ेंगे. ओके. Now this is British and American tradition. You people can just read it once. So anthropology is a large and diversified subject which is practiced differently in different nations. Okay. So Redcliffe, Brown, Reaver, Malinowski, even Pritchard, very important names in anthropology. Okay. So they study social relations. American anthropologists, on the other hand, believe that culture is the most important aspect of human existence. The Britishers are giving importance to social institutions. They are giving importance to, you can see, the culture. Okay. Social anthropology was the term used in India. This is not that very important. Okay. Then we can talk about culture and so on. Okay. Later on. But have you understood the question? You need to know that one particular question what I have given, that how culture is related to society and how society is related to culture. You people should be knowing what is the difference and how it is important. Okay. Because you are going to get such questions only. Now, have you got the clarity? I
Yes,
hope you
ma'am.
have got the clarity on this topic. Now, further, I would suggest that how you people are going to write the answers on it. Just a moment. ओके, सो अगेन अब आप मॉडल आंसर लिखेंगे एंड देन यू कैन कंपेयर later on after writing the question. Write down this question, this one. And now you will have to write down an answer. Okay? From an anthropological perspective, comma, the statement reflects the discipline's core principle of holism. The statement reflects the discipline's core principle of holism, the inseparability of culture, and society in understanding human life. In understanding human life. Next paragraph. Anthropology views culture not merely as ideas or artifacts, comma, but as a way of life that is learn, quickly लिखेंगे, shared, that is learned, shared, transmitted through social relations. Human beings are not biologically programmed. Human beings are not biologically programmed to live in fixed ways. Semicolon. Rather, they depend on culture for survival. Practices such as kinship, comma, subsistence, comma, marriage, and ritual are culturally patterned, comma, but they only acquired meaning within a social context. Thus, comma, there is no human society without culture, because culture provides the symbolic systems, language, myths, values through which social organizations occurred, or through which social relations are organized. Now write down next paragraph. At the same time, comma, culture cannot exist in isolation from society, because it produced and reproduced through interaction. कल्चर जो है आइसोलेशन में रह ही नहीं सकता है, ये सोसाइटी से ही तो ओरिजिनेट होती है. ओके, सो कल्चर कैन नॉट एग्जिस्ट इन आइसोलेशन, फाइन, फ्रॉम सोसाइटी, because it produce and reproduce through interaction. So culture cannot exist without society. Fine. Now you can write down anthropologist, comma, through field work and participant observation have shown that culture is not static, it is continued, it is continuously created, it is continuously created in everyday life. For example, it is continuously created in everyday life. For example, comma, kinship systems are not just cultural rules. Are not just cultural rules, but lived social relationships. Are not just cultural rules, but lived social relationships that sustain cultural norms, across generations, without a social group to enact, comma, negotiate and transmit them cultural patterns would disappear. So now you can therefore understand that how anthropology is emphasizing that culture and society form a single dynamic totality. Do write down this, okay? So anthropology is definitely emphasizing on this crucial point, okay, that culture and society form a single dynamic totality. Both are important for each other for their existence. Culture cannot exist in isolation. It requires society, because society के social institution से ये reproduce होती है. And in society you cannot have agreed framework to behave. So culture बताता है कि society में लोग behave कैसे करेंगे. So one cannot be understood or exist without the other. सोसाइटी है तो कल्चर होगी, कल्चर है तो सोसाइटी होगा. ओके, बोथ आर को constitutive. लिखो, both are, first of all, one cannot be understood or exist without each other. As both are co-constitutive elements of humans' existence, as both are co-constitutive elements of human existence across time and space. So this is how you people should focus on making your roots stronger. If you're thinking that you people are going to fetch highest marks in social cultural anthropology, which is 60 to 65% of your syllabus for your anthropology optional, you would, you know, are actually, you all are mistaken, right? If you people are thinking or have taken such opinions, because you need to have a very deeper insight. So even if you see your syllabus, so you people are going to talk about what is the difference between social groups, social institutes, and social stratification in 2.1, or entire social cultural anthropology. We are discussing about what is culture, what is civilization, what is society. But you must be knowing that how they are interrelated, how they are interconnected, how culture got originated, how we have created society. So not in one go you must, have, you will not prepare critical perspective on it. So you would see that when we are discussing in this manner, when we are making a root so strong, then you will be able to get really good marks in your advanced level of understanding with respect to your syllabus. So this is really important. First of all, read class 11th or class 12th anthropology. Most of you, 90% of individuals do not have anthropology background. So it becomes our responsibility to make our roots stronger. Okay, so I hope you understood this.